Hi friends, this is Mimi with Pastiche Knitwear. Our video tutorial today is on how to work entrelac base triangles with German short row. So let's get started. We're going to begin with a decrease since entrelac is a bias fabric and its gauge is larger than stockinette gauge and we don't want our edges to flare. So I'm introducing a new color here. I'm just going to put my right hand needle into the first stitch, make a loop with my new yarn, leaving a tail of about 6 inches, and then drop the loop over the right hand needle and pull through. So I'm actually beginning here with an SKP, slip one, knit one, pass the slip stitch over. You can use SSK if you prefer. So slip one, that's going to count as my slip, and I will knit this next stitch, pass the slip stitch over, and then knit one more stitch. Now this video is primarily for my mystery hat students, and they will be following, I'm following the pattern that they will be following. So now we're going to do a turn and work. So to turn and work, we turn the fabric, we've already done the turn, and we're going to slip one stitch purlwise. Let me stop here and say that the yarn should be forward, which it is already. I'm going to pull straight up on the right hand, the live end, and you can see that right hand stitch come up, the legs of the stitch beneath come up, and then because I'm going to purl back, I'm going to bring the yarn forward between the two tips of the needles, and I'm going to purl one stitch. And now we're at the end of the row, so I'm going to turn. This time I'm going to slip one, knit two per the pattern. Now you're going to see that this first stitch here is the double stitch, and I just want you, as you're working through the pattern, just work through the double stitch to incorporate it. So we're going to slip one, and then we're going to reincorporate the double stitch, which just means you're going to come under both legs of that stitch when you knit it, and then one stitch more. And now we will turn and work the double stitch. Yarn is forward, we will slip one purlwise, lift up on the live end, bring the yarn forward so that we can purl back, and we're just going to purl back to the end. And now we're going to slip one, knit three, reincorporating the double stitch, which is our second stitch in this case. Here it is again. I'm just going to bring my needle tip under both legs of the stitch as I work it, and then one more stitch. And now we're going to turn and work the double stitch, and then purl back to the end. Now we're keeping this sequence going until we have a base triangle of 5 stitches. So this is going to be our last one. So we slip, and then we're going to knit 4, working through the double stitch. 2, 3, and 4. Now our pattern calls for a 5-stitch base triangle. And remember, we started in our actual stitches down here, we had 6 stitches. We decreased one right away. So we have used up 6 stitches, but we only have 5, which is what we want. We want fewer stitches on our base triangles. Let's do one more just for the fun of it. Okay, so we're going to start with an SKP. Slip one, knit one, pass the slipped stitch over, and then knit one more stitch. Turn and work the double stitch. Slip one purlwise, bring the yarn up and over, yarn forward, and then we'll purl back, purl one. Now we're going to slip one, knit two, working through the double stitch as we come to it, and then turn and work. Slip one, purlwise, yarn up, and then around because we're purling back. Now what this does, the reason that we're doing this, is that when you do your base triangles in Entrelac, unless you do something like this, either a wrap and turn or a German short row or something like that, you always get holes in the base because you're short rowing, and if you turn around in the middle of your work and you don't do some kind of wrapping, you're going to get a hole. And as I was designing this hat, the holes were really bothering me. So because I'm such a German short row junkie, I thought, hey, let's try it here. And I really love the results. I think it gives a really nice looking, clean result. And we should be here at the end of our second base triangle here. Yes, we surely are. So that's it. You would just keep going, repeating those same rows over and over until you've used up all of the stitches that are on your needle. And then we're going to come back and we are going to do the ending triangles for this hat. So I'll see you in a bit.